I can. We live in 5, 4, 3, 2. This thing taking forever. Oh, we live. There you go. So we talking about putting your ego to rest, and what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Like, rest in peace to your ego.
Well, for me, I feel like the ego is one of the most ego impedes progress in various situations. And I think it shows up in the most inopportune times, and when it does show up, it causes like more damage than what was already being caused. And I think if people begin to be conscious of that and start noticing when their ego gets heightened and be able to like talk themselves into bringing their ego down, then they can lead with compassion and with love. And
real quick, explain to, okay, so when we talk about ego, just so that we can, you know what I'm saying, like generalize this a little bit more, and people really, it's easy for us to say words like ego because it's been said so much. Like, do people really even understand what an ego is? What's ego to you?
I think ego is definitely a protective measure. Ego is the innate sense to protect oneself, right, at all costs, right? So I don't care how I'm getting ready to hurt you. I don't care how, and a lot of times what they don't understand is they don't care about how they're getting ready to hurt themselves with their ego. But this kind of like self-preservation technique that goes like above and beyond, and that sacrifices others in the process.
Okay, so what the dictionary says the ego is a person's sense of self-esteem and self-importance. Okay, so what you think
so
about that?
and along those same lines, like it's self-importance, and again wanting to preserve yourself at all costs, and feeling like that if you don't honor this thing called ego, that you kind of degrade yourself, or that you are kind of lowering yourself on a totem pole,
right?
When really and truly you're not. A lot of times it takes more energy trying to preserve your ego than to just say, you know what, let me just kind of like take a step back and like do what makes the most sense in the interest of peace versus in the interest of trying to validate myself, validate my thoughts, and validate what I think is right. Let me just do what's in the interest of peace. And a lot of times, what's in the interest of peace can sometimes mean that you got to admit being wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you just got to take an L on this one. Right? But people don't see that the bigger picture is, at the end of it all, you are able to have more peace in your life as you go through. And really and truly, those feelings of like laying of this RIP to your ego, those feelings that you have of, like, I don't know, it's like a feeling of, you know what I mean? Like when you like kind of like you were talking about humility on Facebook. You've been talking about that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And so it's like preserving your ego is the opposite of humility, right? And I remember this girl in your post was saying something about like she didn't agree with humility because she felt like it was devaluing oneself or affirming that oneself is unimportant or lower or exactly but really and truly, if you know your own worth, then why does it matter what anybody else thinks? There goes the ego again, telling you that not only do you have to preserve yourself, but you got to make everybody else believe whatever it is that you thinking about yourself too. You see what I'm saying?
Whatever you're trying to preserve.
Exactly. You got to make everybody like buy into that. That's also the ego coming in again, when really you could just sit here and like be satisfied in yourself and be like, I know who I am. I know my value. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care what anybody else thinks about how I'm getting ready to handle this situation. I know what place this is coming from. And I'm doing this because this is going to do this for me in my life. This is going to have this positive effect in my life.
Right.
Instead of like keeping up bullshit or keeping the fight going or shooting somebody or whatever the case may be. You can take the opposite approach and like just be compassionate and lead with love. Like, you know, like for instance in relationships, you know, we always kind of go back to relationships because relationships are like of all kinds, right, are not always easy, right, and they take work, and a lot of people try to glaze over that fact, you know, that relationships take work, and a lot of times, like, of course, you know, arguments and things happen. And when a person thinks that they are right, okay,
right,
you be hard pressed a lot of times to get them to back down from what they think is right. And they feel like that if they back down off of it and they say, okay, well, I'm just gonna let it go. Or even say, you know what, you're right, and just move on, then they have somehow, I don't know, it's like they almost invalidated themselves, or they're like devaluing themselves or their thoughts, when really, sometimes you can just do stuff in the interest of peace. And like, peace is fucking good. You know what I mean? And like, you benefit like a whole lot more from that than you do trying to prove any point that you may have. And so I think, you know, I try to like, I've been a fan of like the Dalai Lama for like a long time. And, you know, his stance on compassion and stuff. So compassion is the act of or the approach of not wanting someone else to suffer. Right. Or trying to prevent suffering for others. Right. But when we continue to keep the argument going, when we continue to try to prove our point, when we continue to try to, you know, do all of these things, you end up just kind of, you lose like the path to compassion, because in essence, the suffering is being caused by the disagreement. You get what I'm saying? And so when you take a step back and you say, you know what, whatever is going on, what I don't want is for that person to suffer. And I don't want myself to suffer. And you do whatever it takes to make sure that you're not inflicting suffering on that person, that you're not suffering yourself, and you decide, you know what, I'm just going to just lead with love, then it's just a way better outcome. And you know what, you feel better at the end of the day. You ever had an argument with somebody and was like just keeping that shit up, and you was like, man, I just want to let this shit go, but like you just kept that shit going?
Yeah, I mean, that's in my opinion, that's your ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever read Eckhart Tolle's? Okay, so I think that he breaks down, you know what I'm saying, what the ego is. This is what I understood from it. Like, when back in the day when people used to say your ego, I never really understood what it meant. But now, just like you said, it means like it's that thing that's trying to protect your person and who you think you are. Right. And who you feel you are, who you know yourself to be. And
who you want everybody else to think.
To see you as, right? To see you as, right. You know what I'm saying? But ego, it does protect us a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because to be a person without ego, it's tough. That means that you are a person that if you don't have an ego, nothing bothers you. Nothing is going to affect you. Can we truly be human and not have a little bit of ego? Like, what about that thing that be like, if you say something slick to me and I recognize that it's slick. Like, I recognize, like...
So the fuck what? Move on.
No, I know. You say it like it's easy, though.
I ain't say it was easy, but I'm saying it can be done and that people need to continue practicing that. Yeah. The Dalai Lama teaches that that every time opposition comes your way, you should be giving thanks. You should be grateful, because every time opposition comes your way, you get the opportunity to practice compassion. And only by practice can you get good at it.
Almost.
You know what I mean? So, no.
I mean, I know, and I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it's not that easy. It's not as easy as just saying, fuck that. I don't care what. I put a post on the other day like, do we ever stop really caring what people think?
And I saw that. And I wanted to speak on that because I actually was trying to like type a comment, and I don't know if I was at work or driving. Lord have mercy, I'm supposed to be texting and driving. But I was like, you know what, let me just stop. And then I never got back to it. But here's what I wanted to say about that. Okay. I am a person, and I think I've even said this to you before. You probably like give me the side eye. I'm a person who does not care what anybody thinks about me. Now. At all. Now let me clarify. At all. Let me clarify. Let me clarify what I mean by that.
Please do.
Okay. I cannot control my feelings. Right? Nobody really can. They act like they can, but from who we were as a baby growing up to now, there are certain things that trigger a response in us. And when that adrenaline starts rushing, it's because you've gotten a feeling. Something has been triggered inside of you and you get a feeling, right? A person can't really control that, right? So I'm not saying that a person can't say something to me, oh, Melanie, you ugly. Okay, I'm just saying
you sure is ugly.
Which y'all know that.
You ugly.
But if they were to say that and I was to feel a certain way about it, right? I can't control how I feel. But when I say I don't give a shit about what nobody think about me, that doesn't mean that what they said didn't make me feel sad or I didn't feel a way about it. What it means is that shit rolled off my shoulders just as easily. And I moved the fuck on about my day. Ain't shit stopped. My money ain't stopped. I ain't go in my bed and lay and sulk. Like it didn't stop me. And it didn't change any way that I moved because you felt or because you said that about me. And that's what I mean by I don't give a fuck about what nobody says. Because ain't nothing you gonna say about me is gonna stop me from doing what I'm doing and stop me from going where I'm going. It doesn't mean that I don't have feelings, but I think everybody has feelings. Somebody said, I do care about what my daughter thinks about me. Obviously.
Of course.
I'm her mother, I'm her, I'm her role model, so I want her to look up to me and think great things. But really outside of that, I'm like, life goes on.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like literally and figuratively. I make sure that it goes on. The day life stops because of what somebody says about me is the day that I give a fuck about what somebody thinks about me.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I see you got on, you got your earrings on, you know what I'm saying? You got your hair, it's colored. It's colored a different way. You got your little bracelet on. You let me know it's Cartier. You feel me? Yeah, you let me know it's Cartier bracelet.
First of all, I don't drop. I don't label drop. Okay.
I ain't saying you label drop, but you definitely let me know. You know
I was telling you that I couldn't get it off without a screwdriver.
That's how Cartier is,
that
right?
came with the bracelet, and you asked me, okay. Well, what kind of bracelet is that, Melanie? And I simply divulged and informed you of what type of bracelet.
Okay, you showing right now. You showing about 6 inches of cleavage.
Am I?
Yeah. So
let me ask you what point you trying to make.
I'm asking. Okay, so with all the stuff you got going on, you know what I'm saying? You could actually say that you don't care about what people think when they look at you.
I care about what I think.
Okay, so that's for you. So I see people with like pink hair, people with like, you know what I'm saying, like obvious stuff going on, piercings, and it'd be like people with obvious stuff going on to show people. Because guess what? If you got a piercing right here, guess who can't see it?
Who?
The motherfucker with it.
No, that ain't true. Yes, you can see it. Because your eyes can go down like that right
there.
Oh,
so you can see it and be like, oh, that's cute. So you see that piercing right there, you be like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. But
you can't see no part of your body.
Let me ask you, how often are you looking in the mirror, though?
As often as you damn sure want
to. So you doing it for your reflection.
No, I'm doing it because I want to. Because when
you want to look a certain way.
No. Listen.
What were you about to say?
A woman will tell you this: when a woman looks good, she feels good. Okay, point blank. Period. So I'm doing it because if that's what I think looks good on me, then when I go out in the world, I feel like I can be my best self because I look good and I feel good on the inside. Now you happen to be privy to that because you have a set of eyes too. But it was me that looked in the mirror and said, you know what? This is what looks good to me. Because guess what? A person with pink hair, one person could say, this girl don't give a shit about what she look like. And the other person could say, this girl cares too much about what she looks like. Because she has pink hair. Gray area. Gray area. So, you know, it really comes back to that person. Why did this person dye their hair pink? Because they like it. They felt like it looked good on them, or whatever the case may be. And for everybody else who sees it, you can think whatever you want to think, but this is what I like.
I can respect that. I can respect that because I get it. But at the same time, it's like you've been trained to like a certain thing too. You know what I'm saying? Would you like pink hair if you never seen pink hair before? Probably not. Would you think that you would look good with a eyebrow piercing if you had never seen an eyebrow piercing before?
Well, what does that have to do with anything, Shawn?
It has a lot to do with it because you got it because you felt like your outer appearance would look good with it. And why do you care about looking good? Why would somebody care about looking good?
Why would you not want to look good, Shawn? What's the point that you're trying to make?
For who?
For your goddamn self. I just told you that.
That's what I'm saying. If
a woman who looks good feels good.
What if you don't care about what people think and your ego is not in it, what is looking good?
You get to define that for yourself. See, I think ego is more involved with the external than it is involved with the internal. You get what I'm saying? Ego is for the satisfaction. It is for self-preservation, but it's for self-preservation in the face of others. Okay? But I feel like when you talking about what looks good, I mean, it's just based on you. It's you get to choose that.
Okay, so what if there were no mirrors?
Well, shit, I don't know what to tell you. That would be a whole different ball game.
This is what I'm saying. Like, so if there were no mirrors.
If there were no mirrors, you mean to tell me so you wouldn't get up and comb your hair in the morning because there were no mirrors? You think I'm going to get up every day and don't comb my hair because it ain't no mirrors? You think I'm going to get up every day and put on dirty fucking clothes because it ain't no mirrors? Wrinkle ass clothes because it ain't no mirrors? What
if there were no people? You were the only person. Would you wear wrinkled clothes?
I probably wouldn't wear clothes at fucking all.
Okay. So real quick. If it was cold outside, you had to go outside, and there were no other people but you, would you iron your clothes? No.
Again,
fuck no, you wouldn't iron shit. You would not iron shit because there would be no one there to impress and no one in there to worry about what the fuck you got on. So that's ego, nigga.
You ain't impressing nobody.
Period.
You ain't impressing nobody with no damn iron dance clothes. Now you asking the wrong person because I'm gonna tell you one thing about me is I don't give a shit about iron no clothes. I'd be like them shit's gonna fall out by 12 noon because I ain't finna turn no iron on.
Would you, if there was nobody else, would you put lotion on your elbow?
Yes, because your elbow begins to feel scratchy after a while. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Would you put on, if no one was here, if no one was out here in this world but you, would you put on earrings?
First of all, if nobody was in this world except for me, it wouldn't be no earrings about. Who the fuck gonna make them? Me?
Tomorrow.
No.
Tomorrow. If you had access to all this stuff, would you wear them shits? Would you wear earrings? Would you fix your hair? Would you do anything you do if you woke up tomorrow and there was no motherfucking body here? Would you fix yourself up?
Yes, I would.
Come on.
Listen, guess what? I wouldn't do it every day, but guess what? It's motherfuckers here and I don't do it every day now. So, like, what are you saying?
You don't do it every day?
No. On a Saturday, I lay in my bed.
Why? Because you're not going nowhere, right?
No, I was just finna say, and I may get up and go to the grocery store. I ain't really putting on no clothes like that. I'm just going on. It's just a easy day. I don't know what you want me to say. The point that you're trying to make.
I'm not trying to make a point. What I'm saying is, if you don't care about what people think, then you wouldn't do, in my opinion, you wouldn't do a lot of stuff that you do to make yourself, for certain reasons, to make yourself look good. For some shit. Like, for me to trim my beard and trim my mustache, I can't see that shit. So why... Right now, I can't see it.
But you know what you look like with it.
Yeah, I know what I look like with it, but I can't see it. So it's not doing me no good right now. No, it's not doing me no good.
I would get me a weave with plenty of curls and do all of this, whatever. If nobody was there to see it, sometimes when I get my hair done that way, I'm feeling fresh and so clean. I am going to walk around feeling my best. And I think that when you try to try to enact these unrealistic or outlandish circumstances, there's nobody in the world, well, then you have a whole lot of other factors to consider if there's nobody there. But you're gonna have to make your point out exclusive of saying there's nobody else in the world. So if nobody's there to see it, then you probably wouldn't even do it. First of all, yes, I probably would. Probably want to do it every day, but like I said, I don't do it every day now. So there really is no difference.
All right. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my thought process. That's my opinion. And I feel like if you could not see yourself and no one else could see themselves, you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't care what ourselves look like.
So it's basically like you're trying to say that ego is just derived off of physical beauty and that's it.
I'm not talking. See, right now I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about what people think of you. Do you care what people think of you? Which kind of stemmed off from ego.
Yeah, we kind of catapulted from ego, saying that, ego causes us to kind of veer in that direction. Sometimes
I think so. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like your ego is kind of like your exoskeleton. You know what I'm saying? And when you peel away that exoskeleton, then you got soft tissue. You can be harmed. You can be hurt. You know what I'm saying? If you're not prepared for it. So your ego, just like you said, your ego protects you.
Right.
If your mind not strong enough. You know what I'm saying?
You become extremely vulnerable in the absence of your ego. And just the thing is that people cannot handle being vulnerable. They're afraid.
People suck at vulnerability.
Because they're afraid of vulnerability. Listen, vulnerability is uncomfortable. This is what you got to realize. People don't like discomfort. Vulnerability is uncomfortable because what happens is that when you become vulnerable, you open yourself up to a world where anybody really can hurt you.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. And to know that you would actually do that to yourself. You would actually put yourself in a position where someone could take advantage of you because they have this information, because they know how you feel, because you've expressed such and such, right? And in the essence of doing that, you've created this vulnerability, you become vulnerable. You would actually do that to yourself. But there is strength in vulnerability. There really is, but people are so afraid of it that they can't get to the other side of it to realize there really is something beautiful on the other side of vulnerability. People too afraid to even get to the point to dare even get to the other side of it.
For sure.
And it's all rooted in ego. It's all rooted in ego.
It is.
And that's why I think, again, we gotta just lay this. There is room for pride. Don't get me wrong. We have it for a reason.
Define pride.
Pride and ego to me are the same thing.
Are they?
To me,
okay.
They are. Yeah. Would you
one and the same?
You beg to differ?
Okay.
I use them interchangeably.
Okay, because pride could be something that you have reverence for, you know what I'm saying, that you hold to high esteem.
Well, now there are different definitions of pride. I take pride in my daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Feel deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. It's similar to ego.
Yeah, but to one's own achievements.
Or of those with whom they are closely
affiliated.
associated,
Right.
or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired.
Right.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are two things. If they're too big, then it becomes negative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Too pronounced. Right. Yeah. I just feel like we really gotta learn how to gauge. It's like this fine, line of gauging, like how much ego do we let in, or how much pride do we have to a point to where it doesn't harm us. Like we're so afraid of vulnerability because it harms us.
Right.
But pride and ego, they harm us as well.
True.
They harm us under this shadow, if you will, of protection. And it's really like a part of it's really like it's bondage to a certain extent. You know,
it is bondage.
When you get to a point,
I agree.
When you get to a point where you don't have to show so much honor to ego and pride, then you get free from that. And again, I just feel like vulnerability, there's something beautiful on the other side of vulnerability. And you've heard me talk about this before, and I wish more people would get, particularly men, because men are so afraid to be vulnerable. And I think that the world, the black community, would benefit from our men getting their dipping their toe in the pool of vulnerability, and seeing where that takes them.
Right.
Yeah. That's just my thought.
I mean, I agree, and I think it's something that has to be taught from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for us to say that black men need to be more vulnerable, but the thing about it is that black parents aren't teaching.
Or even allowing
boys to be vulnerable. Like, man, my son is a crybaby. You know what I'm saying? And I find myself getting mad at him for crying all the time, right? Because it'd be over little stupid shit sometimes. So I'd be like, man. So I have to tell him, yo, if you crying, then you got to be crying over something that means something.
Good reason, right?
Yeah, don't be just sitting up here crying because you can't wear a shirt that you want to wear.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, if you gonna cry, man, you need to be crying over something that's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cause you crying like this, and if I whoop your ass, you gonna cry the same way?
Something ain't right with this. This is the imbalance.
Yeah, it ain't right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I'm aware of that. Okay, let's not take his sensitivity away from him.
Right, tell him you better stop crying and don't you ever cry.
Exactly.
Boys don't cry.
But at the same time, right? At the same time, we're saying yo, if you gonna cry, make sure you crying over something that you really feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times though, just like the lady who want her son to sell dope, you think she teaching him how to be vulnerable and how to be sensitive?
There's a lot of things that my parents didn't teach me. Okay, a lot of things they didn't teach me.
Right.
And I had to take it upon myself to teach myself. So you will never see me give a pass to anybody talking about my parents and teaching me. And I don't give a shit about that. Your parents, listen. Your parents ain't gonna have everything to give you growing up. They just ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna be able to. They're not super parents, not superheroes. They're not
they flawed.
Yeah. Just like you.
They can only give you.
People gotta realize whatever your parents gave you. I had to come to terms with this. Whatever my parents gave me, they gave me what they had. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Point blank. Period. So and guess what? I'm a person. I've been exposed. I've gone places. I've gone to college. I've gone I've seen things. I have a brain. Right. I can have a desire to learn. I can feel something to me and say I want to be this certain type of way, or I feel like this type of way is a good way to be, or whatever the case may be, and I can teach myself. Right. So no, I don't. You're not gonna get a pass from me talking about, oh, woe is me. My parents didn't teach me, and I don't know what to do. It takes practice, and if you want to get there, just like anything else, you can get there. Period. And now that's all I got to say about that.
I mean. That's all I got to say about it. And I mean, I feel you. And I mean, in closing, basically, as people in dealing with relationships, we got to get out of that ego.
Yeah.
Because once we put our ego to the side, then we're going to be able to love better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're going to be more receptive to our partner. We're going to be better listeners. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be better communicators. If we could put that thing to the side that we feel like we got to hold on so dear to.
Less grudge holding.
Yeah. Less grudge holding. Less feeling.
Harboring ill will. You around here harboring ill will, harboring ill feelings, you know, carrying weight on your shoulders, letting it weigh you down, you know, going about your day trying to figure out ways to create suffering for other people because you fucking miserable, because you still holding on to what they did. You know, 6 months ago they didn't went on about their life. We hear this all the time, and you still holding on to it. You know, like when you let the ego go and you decide I'm gonna move with compassion and I'm gonna lead. I'm going to catch this.
Okay.
I'm gonna move with compassion, and I'm going to lead with love.
Lord.
Okay.
Look at her. Look at her. Say it again.
I'm going to move with compassion and I'm going to lead with love. And so it's like, if the things that you do, if you're doing anything out of anger, out of trying to create, you know, like, again, suffering and pain for somebody, then you should be able to start practicing to automatically stop yourself and say, okay, what can I do that is going to express love, especially for those people that we do love.
Right.
Which are the people that we end up hurting most of the time. You know what I mean? And so in that regard, it should be a little bit easier because, in fact, if it's your spouse, if it's your brother or your sister, whatever, you really do love these people. In spite of whatever rift that is come between you all temporarily, at the gist of it all, at the center of it all, you really do love these people. If you could just stop and take a step back and say, you know what? I'm going to lead with love because love is there. You know what I mean? It just takes being conscious. We do a lot of things like unconsciously. But if you become conscious in the things that you do and actually think about it, then I'm not saying that you won't ever do anything mean or hateful again. That's not what I'm saying. But more and more as you practice it, you will be able to lead this life of, again, like compassion and leading with love. And like a totally different world will open up for you. A totally different world.
And I believe that. And the only way you can do that is if you take your pride out, take your ego out.
Yep.
Especially when you're talking to them loved ones, because you don't need it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Shawn Doe.
Melanie the Beautiful. I don't
make the rules.
Podcast.
We out.
Yep.
It was good.